Good morning, second grade. Miss Vogelman here for your reading lesson today. Let me share my screen so that you can see my slides. All right, so our learning target today is that I can ask and answer questions such as who, what, when, where, and why in a fiction text. Our connection is that earlier this quarter, we studied how we can ask and answer questions about a fiction text to help us be active readers and thinkers. So these are questions we can be asking to be a part of our story and to make sure we're fully understanding our story. This is our anchor chart about asking and answering questions. When we are asking questions, we ask questions to help ourselves understand. We ask before we've even read the book, during our reading, and after our reading. When we answer our questions, we use the text to find our answers. So if we don't know the answer to the question, which is a lot of times the case, we use our text to figure out the answer. Our question words are who, when, why, what, where, and how. Today, we're going to read the story, The Cool Bean. We are going to work on asking and answering questions about this book. Okay, so our book is called The Cool Bean. Before reading the book, some of my questions are, is he a bean in the story? Is he at school because I see that there's a playground behind him? What happens to him? Why is he cool? Those are questions that we can ask. Why? Where? Why is he called the Cool Bean? Where is he? The playground maybe, or the school. And what is he? Is the person a bean? Well, let's find out.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
The Cool Bean. Written by John Jory. Illustrated by Pete Oswald. Watch out! Here come the cool beans. The cool beans. Oh yeah, check out how they move. Look at the way they swagger. Notice their sunglasses? Yow! The cool beans are known all over school, from house to house, across town, beyond county lines. In the olden days, last year, we were all one big pot of beans. We were a mixed bag, but somehow it worked. Yep, those were the good old days. And then we stopped seeing each other as much. That's just how it is sometimes. You spend less time together, even though you're not totally sure why. I watched as the beans I knew so well, the beans from my own pod, became the cool beans. Oh, they were so cool. One of them could play the guitar. Cool. One of them could draw the best superheroes. Cool. One of them could jump higher than any bean I'd ever known. Cool. Me? Well, I mostly stayed the same. Sure, I made some small changes. I wore sunglasses. Too big. I slicked my hair back. Too slick. I strutted around. Woof! I swaggered. Woof! I was still picked last for everything. My clothes never seemed to fit. I snorted when I laughed. I walked into stuff. I was an uncool bean for sure. I started thinking of myself as just a common bean with no special skills. I couldn't compete, so I didn't even try. I'd never be a cool bean.
Dear Mrs. Claus, please bring me a unicorn because I love unicorns.
It seemed like there were two types of beans in this world. There were the cool beans, and then the beans like me. The days all blended together. I lived my life and things were just okay. I took tests and ate lunches and mostly kept to myself. The cool beans continued being cool. I mean, sure, I missed them a bit, but it's not like I was going to say anything. I felt like all that coolness had gotten in the way of our friendship. And that's how it went until one day. I was in the cafeteria. I dropped my lunch on my loafers. Oh no, not again. But then something sort of miraculous happened. Out of nowhere, one of the cool beans helped me clean it up. He didn't even say anything. He just gave me a nod. That was it. Later, I was out on the playground. I tripped and scraped my knee and maybe cried a little bit, and everybody saw it. Another one of the cool beans came to my side, and without a word, he dusted me off. That afternoon, I was sitting in class. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't notice, but our teacher had called on me. Everybody stared. I sat there in silence. Nobody said anything. And then, everybody just laughed at me. That was it. After today, I was officially a has-been. But then, one of the cool beans stood up and came over to me. Everybody watched. She leaned in close and whispered, "Hey, the teacher asked you to read from page 32. Then she gave me a quick wink and went back to her seat. It was a small gesture, sure, but it was also everything. I walked home with a goofy smile on my face. I smiled all the way through dinner. That day made all the difference. It was a day that could have been really bad, if not for the kindness of a few cool beans. It gave me a shred of confidence. That shred of confidence has continued to grow. Somebody had my back, or a few somebodies. After that, I started hanging out with the cool beans again. How have you been? Get it? How have you been? Not all of the time, but sometimes. At lunch, after school, even on the weekends. Throughout all of this, I realized that it's not about how you look or any of that other silly stuff. It's about a wink or a nod or a smile at just the right moment. It's about dusting somebody off, helping them up again, and pointing them in the right direction. You need a hand? Yes, please. Now that's cool. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. Want to check out the last story we read?
Okay, so as I was listening to that story, there were some questions that I thought about. So let me stop my share, pull my whiteboard up, and talk about these questions. So one of the questions as we were reading that I came up with was, why, there's my question word, are they cool beans? Okay. And that was a question that eventually got answered, didn't it? Okay, they said they were cool beans because one jumped higher than any bean, right? So, and then one wore cool glasses, right? So he was cool too. So as I was reading, I was thinking in my head, I need to listen and think about why these beans are cool, okay? So another question that I had was, well, it wasn't really a question, but it was, yes, I guess it was a question, but it was, what lesson, and this was something I thought of at the end of the story, what lesson did the beans learn? Whoop, it's not typing for me. What lesson did the beans learn in the story? Okay. So I was thinking to myself after I'd read, because this is a story I would ask after the reading, what lesson did the beans learn in the story? And I think the lesson they learned is cool is being kind to others, okay? Because those cool beans marched around like they were cool, they had a lot going on, but ultimately they didn't mean a lot to other people until they started helping others. And when they helped others, they could feel that they felt better for helping those people. And then look, after they helped that little bean, the little bean went and helped another one. So kindness is something that is contagious. It is something that once one person is kind, the next person is kind. And it just takes that first person to really put themselves out there and be cool by being kind. Okay, so let me take us back to the slideshow. All right, so for some reason it's not letting me go. Here we are. Okay, so our questions were, what made the beans cool? And we talked about how one of the beans can jump higher than all other beans, and that's what they felt like made him cool. And we also talked about what, and that was a during the reading question. And we also talked about what lesson they learned. And this is an after reading question, something that you talk about to yourself or to other, to friends that have read the story. What lesson did they learn in the story? And we said that the lesson was that it's cool to be kind. Okay, so these are questions that we ask ourselves to make sure that we have understood what we've read. We sometimes need to ask questions to better understand something. Make sure you are being an active thinker and listener during our read alouds. And to be an active thinker and listener, you need to be asking yourself questions before, during, and after the reading. All right, continue to work hard and get that work done today.